Hello everyone, Tina Spalding Trance channel here today. Today I'm going to be doing one of our Course in Miracles text reading on YouTube. These are regular things that I do once a week, more or less, on our membership page. The membership has access to over 150 hours of channeled material that you have never seen on YouTube. It is a community that has all of my archive material, over up to 900 videos that you can access there. And you also have a chat page that's very much like a Facebook, but it's all about spirituality and channeling and A Course in Miracles, and it's developing into a beautiful community. So I'll put that link down to the page that describes the membership. It's $33 a month, and it gives you access to personal sessions for me, which I often don't advertise publicly. It also gives you access to first opportunities in booking retreats, which is a good segue into the next thing I'd like to mention, which is that on December 21st from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pacific time zone, I am doing a mini online retreat. There are going to be 4 channelers that are featured. I'm going to be doing 3 hours of channeling. The other channels are going to be doing a shorter time period. So it's a wonderful day of visitations from our non-physical teachers and friends. Usually get a surprise visit or two from some extraterrestrials when we do an event like that. So I will also put the link to that down below, and you can check out the poster for it at the homepage of channelingjesus.com. So that is coming December 21st. We'd really like you to consider joining us for that, as it's our very first public online event. I have done private online events before, but this is the first one that I'm going to open up to the public. It's $99 for the whole day, and you will get a video recording as well included in that price, sent to you after the event. So I'm going to go to the Course in Miracles reading now. We're reading A Course in Miracles Chapter 2, Part 6, Fear and Conflict. Being afraid seems to be involuntary, something beyond your own control. Yet I have said already that only constructive acts should be involuntary. My control can take over everything that does not matter, while my guidance can direct everything that does, if you so choose. Fear cannot be controlled by me, but I can be self-controlled. Fear prevents me from giving you my control. The presence of fear shows that you have raised body thoughts to the level of the mind. This removes them from my control and makes you feel personally responsible for them. This is an obvious confusion of levels. I do not foster level confusion, but you must choose to correct it. You would not excuse insane behavior on your part by saying that you could not help it. Why should you condone insane thinking? There is a confusion here that you would do well to look at clearly. You may believe that you are responsible for what you do, but not for what you think. The truth is that you are responsible for what you think, because it is only at this level that you can exercise choice. What you do comes from what you think. You cannot separate yourself from the truth by giving autonomy to behavior. This is controlled by me automatically as soon as you place what you think under my guidance. Whenever you are afraid, it is a sure sign that you have allowed your mind to miscreate and have not allowed me to guide it. It is pointless to believe that controlling the outcome of misthought can result in healing. When you are fearful, you have chosen wrongly. That is why you feel responsible for it. You must change your mind, not your behavior. And this is a matter of willingness. You do not need guidance except at the mind level. Correction belongs only at the level where change is possible. Change does not mean anything at the symptom level where it cannot work. The correction of fear is your responsibility. When you ask for release from fear, you are implying that it is not. You should ask instead for help in the conditions that have brought the fear about. These conditions always entail a willingness to be separate, At that level, you can help it. You are much too tolerant of mind wandering and are passively condoning your mind's miscreations. The particular result does not matter, but the fundamental error does. The correction is always the same. Before you choose to do anything, ask me if your choice is in accord with mine. If you are sure that it is, there will be no fear. Fear is always a sign of strain, arising whenever what you want conflicts with what you do. This situation arises in two ways. First, you can choose to do conflicting things either simultaneously or successively. This produces conflicted behavior, which is intolerable to you because the part of the mind that wants to do something else is outraged. Second, you can behave as you think you should, but without entirely wanting to. This produces consistent behavior, but entails great strain. In both cases, the mind and the behavior are out of accord, resulting in a situation in which you are doing what you do not wholly want to do. This arouses a sense of coercion that usually produces rage, and projection is likely to follow. Whenever there is fear, it is because you have not made up your mind. Your mind is therefore split, and your behavior inevitably becomes erratic. Correcting at the behavioral level can shift the error from the first to the second type, but will not obliterate the fear. It is possible to reach a state in which you bring your mind under my guidance without conscious effort, but this implies a willingness that you have not developed as yet. The Holy Spirit cannot ask more than you are willing to do. The strength to do comes from your undivided decision. There is no strain in doing God's will, as soon as you recognize that it is also your own. The lesson here is quite simple, but particularly apt to be overlooked. I will therefore repeat it, urging you to listen. Only your mind can produce fear. It does so whenever it is conflicted in what it wants, producing inevitable strain because wanting and doing are discordant. This can be corrected only by accepting a unified goal. The first corrective step in undoing the error is to know that first, that the conflict is an expression of fear. Say to yourself that you must somehow have chosen not to love, or the fear could not have arisen. Then the whole process of correction becomes nothing more than a series of pragmatic steps in the larger process of accepting the atonement as the remedy. These steps may be summarized in this way. Know first that this is fear. Fear arises from a lack of love. The only remedy for a lack of love is perfect love. Perfect love is the atonement. I have emphasized that the miracle, or the expression of atonement, is always a sign of respect from the worthy to the worthy. The recognition of this worth is established by the atonement. It is obvious then that when you are afraid, you have placed yourself in a position where you need atonement. You have done something loveless, having chosen without love. This is precisely the situation for which the atonement was offered. The need for the remedy inspired its establishment. As long as you recognize only the need for the remedy, you will remain fearful. However, as soon as you accept the remedy, you have abolished the fear. This is how true healing works. Everyone experiences fear, yet it would take very little right thinking to realize why fear occurs. Few appreciate the real power of the mind, and no one remains fully aware of it all the time. However, if you hope to spare yourself from fear, there are some things you must realize, and realize fully. The mind is very powerful and never loses its creative force. It never sleeps. Every instant it is creating. It is hard to recognize that thought and belief combine into a power surge that can literally move mountains. It appears at first glance that to believe such power about yourself is arrogant, but that is not the real reason you do not believe it. You prefer to believe that your thoughts cannot exert real influence because you are actually afraid of them. This may allay awareness of the guilt, but at the cost of perceiving the mind as impotent. If you believe that what you think is ineffectual, you may cease to be afraid of it, but you are hardly likely to respect it. There are no idle thoughts. All thinking produces form at some level. And that is our text reading lesson for today. A Course in Miracles, Chapter 2, Part 6, Fear and Conflict. Let's see what Jesus has to say about this. You are blessed beings indeed. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and we are very pleased that you are here to listen to this lesson today. This lesson comes as part of a deeper understanding of how the mind works and how fear works and how your creative power works. As you study A Course in Miracles and as you come to comprehend these at times complicated phrases and complicated paragraphs, you will indeed come to understand how your mind works. And as you come to understand how your mind works, you will begin to understand how your creative powers work. This is a very, very important thing for all of you to understand at this time as you are being pushed towards fear on a daily basis. Now, the powers that be in your society have been doing this for a long time. This does not negate this lesson, the fact that this has been happening for a long time. We want to remind you that you have been primed with fear for many years. Your frequencies have been lowered. Your minds have been given information that causes them to panic, that causes them to go into a very basic survival instinct mode. And in that mode, there is no way of considering the kinds of words that we are revealing to you in this text. You must be at peace to read this text, if only for a few minutes. If you come to this text in a state of fear and confusion, the words will simply skip over your mind and you will not be able to take them in. Some beings come to A Course in Miracles when they are in fear and confusion, and it is okay. But if you are in fear and confusion and you are considering beginning A Course in Miracles or reading or listening to this material, it will be very, very difficult for you to understand it because your mind is not capable of understanding truth when it is in a panicked state. So if you listen to these words or you read these words, we want you to understand that. However, when you are in a panicked state and you read a text such as this, it will begin to calm you, even though you do not understand it, even though you do not comprehend it, because it is the truth, and there is a deeper part of your mind beneath this fear, beneath these surface waves, that understands and comprehends the truth, and it begins to awaken and enliven itself as you bring the truth to it. So for those of you that find yourself in a state of fear right now, you must comprehend that you are doing this voluntarily by listening to the materials that are being sent your way. For those beings that have been studying A Course in Miracles for a long time, they will not be in such deep states of fear as those of you that are dismissing this text or saying it's too hard or too time consuming or it's not for you. We want to challenge that. This text is for all of you. It has been designed for these times to bring about an elevation of frequency to match the increasing and escalating energies of this time. Do not dismiss this book as old-fashioned because it was channeled 50 years ago. Do not dismiss this book as too religious or too dogmatic. It is not. It is merely asking you to focus. The language used and the way the sentences are constructed is designed to make you work at focusing your mind, because it is in a focused mind that you leave behind the discursive mind. The discursive mind is the worrying mind, the fearful mind, the mind that is concerned with bodily survival. This is what the fear that is being pushed your way in these recent years is designed to do. It is designed to bring to the surface your more primitive thought patterns and therefore your more primitive behavioral patterns. That is what you are seeing and experiencing at this time. If you are seeking to become calmer, if you are seeking to become less defensive and less fearful, less angry, we would suggest that you begin to focus your mind on the text and the lessons of A Course in Miracles, which we support fully through this being, we want you to know that you do not have to suffer. You do not have to live in fear, and you do not have to live in fear of death. This is what is being promoted at this time. So we ask all of you to listen to this recording again. There are many words and deep meanings hidden within this text. You may even want to transcribe it into a notebook so that you can really slow down your mind, focus your mind, and come to understand that if you are feeling fear at this time in your life, it is because you are choosing to feel fear at this time. You must focus your mind on peace and love and the things that bring you joy. And in doing that, you will begin to feel better, regardless of what is going on in the world. You must understand that you being in fear, in fact, contributes negatively into the world rather than positively. So if you are cowering in your house, afraid of dying because of what the news tells you, you are indeed in a primitive and unevolved part of the brain. It is called the limbic system. It is the survival mechanism part of the brain, and it prevents you from connecting to higher mind. We are resident in higher frequencies, and we connect with the higher mind of humans that are not in fear all the time. So if you would like to make conscious contact with beings of higher frequency, this is what you must do. You must banish fear from your mind. But first you must understand that you produce it, you create it, you nurture it, you talk about it, you think about it, you coddle it, and you feed it. This is your choice. You have free will in this earth plane. But we want you to know that there is another way. I am that one that you know as Jesus, and I will speak to you again soon. I love him. So if you love Jesus and you enjoy these channeled messages, please consider joining our community, and please consider joining our one-day mini retreat, December 21st, 2020. The links to both of those things will be found in the description box below. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do subscribe, and you will be notified when I put up a video. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you again soon.